UFC 321 is this weekend, and in this video we are going to break down the whole main card, give you guys predictions for every single fight, as well as what bets I'm going to be placing this weekend and what parlays I'm going to be doing. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the end to get all of the predictions and all of the betting picks, and it is going to be a great video. We are pumping this out for you at like midnight right now to get this out before the event. And if you could hit subscribe, we're almost at 1,200 subscribers, which is a huge milestone, so every single subscribe is appreciated. But let's get right into the predictions, and we'll start at the top of the card. We'll look at Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane, and this is for the heavyweight championship of the UFC. Huge fight. Tom Aspinall's first defense as the undisputed champion. You guys already know Jon Jones was stalling out this guy's career, and we were waiting forever for Tom Aspinall to fight, but he's now the only heavyweight champion, and he has his first defense against none other than the Frenchman Ciryl Gane. And if you guys don't know Ciryl Gane, he is a great kickboxer. Maybe one of the best kickboxers the heavyweight division has ever seen. This guy's very fast, very light on his feet. He's a problem for anybody. However, as we saw in the Jon Jones fight, which is like 3 years ago at this point, crazy to think about, but he is lacking when it comes to the ground game, specifically submission defense. I mean, he's thrown up some submission attempts before and got some, but he is lacking when a better wrestler takes him down and has control over him. And getting right into the prediction, I see a lot of people are underrating Ciryl Gane. I mean, this guy has plenty of knockouts, plenty of wins. He just beat Volkov, which everyone was really high on Volkov. I know it was a close fight, but ultimately the judges did give it to Ciryl Gane. And Gane has plenty of other great wins on his resume. And he's a great kickboxer, a better kickboxer than Aspinall when it comes to a kickboxing sense. But all in all, in this fight, I have to pick Tom Aspinall. I'm not going to be some contrarian out here just picking Ciryl Gane just to rage bait you guys and get engagement. You know, you guys comment down in the vids because I give the best predictions on YouTube. You guys are here for the real deal. But looking at this matchup, the big question is, how will Tom Aspinall look if this fight goes to the third round, maybe the fourth and fifth championship rounds? Because we've never seen Tom Aspinall's fights really go that long. So does Tom Aspinall have a cardio problem? We don't know. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. That is for the world to find out. Will we find it out this weekend? We will see, but where I'm putting my money is on Tom Aspinall money line here. I think that he is going to get Ciryl Gane to the ground, and Ciryl Gane is not going to know what to do with this. I mean, I would imagine Ciryl would be working endlessly on his ground game ever since the Jon Jones fight if he ever wanted to be a champion in the UFC again. However, I just don't think in that amount of time you can make up the difference you would need to make to beat somebody like Tom Aspinall, who is that good on the ground. Now, that being said, Gane, great kickboxer, always has the potential to catch Tom Aspinall and knock him out, but if I'm being realistic about who's going to win this fight, I think Tom Aspinall beats him in power, wrestling, and grappling, and that is enough to beat Ciryl Gane. I mean, we're talking Ciryl Gane only beats him in kickboxing, and it's not like Tom's a slouch, but Ciryl Gane definitely gets the nod there, but it is not enough to give him my prediction of beating Tom Aspinall. And I mean, even when Tom's not fighting, I know he hasn't fought in over 400 days because of this whole Jon Jones situation, just ducking Tom Aspinall. It's been ridiculous. But Tom Aspinall is always uploading to YouTube. He's always in the gym. Like, I never see him doing literally anything else except fighting, unless he's raging at some seagulls on Instagram and a random reel account. But we see Ciryl Gane out here is going for a Division I FIFA Ultimate Team Championship in all of his free time. Like, I never see footage of this guy sparring. The only footage I see of his training come out is when Ciryl Gane was getting ragdolled by Nassourdine Imavov. And Nassourdine Imavov fights in the 185-pound division, way less than the heavyweight division. So if you're getting ragdolled by him, and I know Imavov is a good wrestler in his own respect, but what do you think is going to happen when you get in the ring with a great heavyweight wrestler like Tom Aspinall? I just think this is bad luck. But I know Ciryl Gane's photos came out, and this guy's looking jacked right now. I mean, he's hitting roid maxing mixed with some genetic maxing, and this guy's just looking insane. One of the best heavyweight physiques we've seen since Alistair Overeem. Like, Ciryl Gane's physique is looking crazy. But let's go down to the card. We got Tom Aspinall as our first pick. And the next fight, we have Alexander Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. Now, this is a fight that I'm super stoked for. I'm unfortunately going to be in Nebraska this weekend. Actually, fortunately, because it'll be a great time. However, I don't know if I'll be able to watch these fights. We're going to try to pull it up wherever we're at. We're going to try to pull it maybe to a Buffalo Wild Wings or maybe some local sports bar will have the fights on. We'll see what happens there, but maybe we'll AirPod up and toss on the MMA Guru or Lucas Tracy stream. But this fight right here is a banger. The winner of this fight is likely fighting for the championship, which is going to be the winner of Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane, unless the Jon Jones comes back or Alex Pereira moves up like he claims he's going to do. We have another video about that coming out in the following weeks, so make sure you subscribe so you see that when it comes out. Or else, sadly, my videos will probably never appear in your feed again, and that'd just be a shame. But I see a lot of people picking Almeida to win, but I have Volkov, and I'll tell you guys why. And right now we have Herrick Insider News, and this is a segment we bring to you every single video to give my subscribers niche information that they will not get elsewhere. It gives my subscribers more value, so just another great reason to subscribe to the channel. But we had DC talking to Tom Aspinall this week, and DC was mic'd up, and he forgot to take his mic off. He didn't mute it, and for some reason this footage got posted, which was a crazy look, but DC told Tom Aspinall that he could go on a life-changing run at heavyweight. He was telling Tom that these matchups are easy, which, you know, another reason to pick Tom there. But then what DC said out of nowhere, he just calls out a specific fighter. He said Almeida can't fight, which that's just another reason to pick Volkov here. So Volkov is my pick for this fight. DC, Daniel Cormier, is a 2-division UFC champion, including being a heavyweight champion, so he knows these heavyweight fighters better than you and I. He could see who's good and who's not. And that is just one of the many reasons that I am going to pick Alexander Volkov for this fight. Volkov's size is just unreal. He's like Stefan Struve out there, but a lot more skilled. Another piece of info, Tom Aspinall actually said this week that Volkov is lying about his height. He is not 6'7". He's actually 6'9", which is just crazy to think that there's a guy that tall that is that good at MMA. I mean, that just sounds like somebody who could beat anyone. Another reason we're picking Volkov here is he just fought Gane earlier this year, and it was a razor-close fight. I had Volkov winning, but a lot of people think it was a robbery that they gave Gane the victory. That's another rant for another time, but to look that good against Gane, I guarantee you if Gane and Almeida were fighting, Gane would be a big favorite. So if Volkov and Gane is going to be that razor-close fight where most people, you and I, thought that Volkov won that fight, you got to think that Volkov's going to beat Almeida here. Volkov's pretty well-rounded. You know, he's not the best wrestler, but he's not a scrub. I know Aspinall made light work of him, but I think Aspinall has the potential to be the GOAT of the heavyweight division. Another video for another time. Make sure you subscribe. But I just have Volkov winning this. He's so big, and he's a well-rounded fighter. And when he puts the cornrows in, he looks like Mega Patty Pimblett. He's just on another level down there. Which, if you want to see my video about Patty Pimblett and Ilia Topuria, you could watch that after this video because it looks like that fight is happening in January. Patty did just call out Ilia literally today for not signing the contract, but we know that's only going to rage bait Ilia even more, and he's definitely going to take that fight. Moving on to the next fight, I'm super stoked about this one. I was talking to my buddy at work about this the other day. We have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Bautista, and one of my friends was actually picking Mario Bautista, and I was like, hold the phone. Like, you can make whatever prediction you want, but please, as your friend, I would hope that you don't put money on Mario Bautista to beat Umar, because Umar is definitely my pick here. I think that Merab is the best bantamweight fighter in the world. I think that Umar is the second, and then there's a drop-off between the rest of the fighters. And that's where you have people like Mario Bautista, Sean O'Malley, Petr Yan, Corey Sandhagen. But if you think back to January, and this seems like so long ago because it was 3 title fights ago for Ilia Topuria, but it was actually earlier this 2025 when Umar Nurmagomedov was a big betting favorite over Merab at that fight, and he beat Merab in 2 rounds, almost beat him in 3 rounds, which would have won him the title. But Merab, we see how good this guy is, and he did win that fight. It was a very close fight. But look what Merab is going on to do. He went on to finish O'Malley, to be the first person to ever do that, and then he just dominated Corey Sandhagen for 5 rounds straight. So yeah, you and I are both calling Merab Dvalishvili the bantamweight GOAT, and that is a correct statement by the very, very majority opinion. I think it's got to be consensus at this point. But if that is the case, and just earlier this year, Umar was a favorite to beat him and was this close to beating him, how are you going to tell me that you think Mario Bautista is going to beat Umar Nurmagomedov? I just don't see how it's going to happen. I really don't. I know Mario beat an old Jose Aldo, and he's winning these other fights, but he's not that impressive. He's impressive like I know he's good. He's a great fighter, but he's not looking like an Umar or Merab level fighter out here, and that's where I think Umar wins this fight. I do rate Mario Bautista pretty highly. I think he knows how to win fights. He has that Leon Edwards in him where, you know, it's probably going to be a boring decision, but he knows he's going to win that fight because he knows how to play the rules, play the judges, win the scorecard. But I just don't think you could do that to someone as good as Umar. I think this is where your luck cuts off. I think Umar and Merab are where the real problems are for Mario in this division. I do like his odds against the Corey Sandhagen or Sean O'Malley. I think Petr Yan's a bit more tricky, but he could get it done. But in this fight, I have Umar. Let me know if you guys think Mario's going to win, because I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Let me know for any of these if you agree or disagree with me. But we're going to move on to our next fight on this card. In the next fight, we have Yanaroba. I know I'm saying that name wrong. You guys are going to correct me down in the comments, because that's what you guys always do. But we got her versus Mackenzie Dern. And my initial pick is Yanaroba, but I'm really not educated in women's MMA. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. If you guys give me this in-depth prediction down below that Mackenzie Dern's going to win, I'm going to be like, all right, yeah, that's my new pick. That's right. This is not a fight I'm betting on because I am not well educated in women's MMA. I will admit my fault there. I know that the sport is on the up and up, and I will be watching Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Wei Li, and I will be watching Amanda Nunes' return fight, but right now, I'm not the most educated, and that's my bad, guys. But you tell me down below who you think is going to win this fight. I am cheering for Mackenzie Dern because she is the more popular star, and I think that is what women's MMA needs without someone like a Ronda Rousey these days or a super active Amanda Nunes. So that's good for the sport, and if she wins and gets to the title, I think that would only do wonders for the sport. But moving right on to the next fight we have. And this is the last fight we'll be talking about before we go into my picks and my parlay here. And this is Rakic versus Murzakanov. And I am butchering that name. Murzakanov. We're trying to sound it out here. It may be right. Just don't put me in a spelling bee trying to figure this one out. But thankfully they don't put last names on those. But people are saying they're setting Murzy. That's what I'm going to call him in this video. They're setting Murzy up for failure here because he got popped for PEDs. UFC doesn't really want him around. So they put him against Rakic. Very underrated light heavyweight. When you think of the best light heavyweights, you think Pereira, Yuri Prochazka, Carlos Ulberg, Magomed Ankalaev, Khalil Roundtree. That's the list right there, and then you're going to add Jan Blachowicz. That's going to be your top 6, and I know that's a fact. But what you're forgetting to put in there is this guy named Rakic, and it's because he's a boring fighter. That's why you forget it. This guy is the wet blanket master of the UFC. It's him and Arman Sarukian over here with these very boring fights. You could toss Mateus Gamrot in there too. And as boring as Rakic is, and I really don't want him to win because I just don't want to watch him fight good fights and fight for a championship because he's that boring. If he wins, the division is chopped, which there are better fighters than him. I don't think he gets there, but Rakic did have a very close fight with Magomed Ankalaev, and Magomed Ankalaev would smoke my boy Murzy over here. So I think that Rakic, indubitably through the MMA math, it never adds up. I think he does win this fight here. I think it's going to be a boring fight. This is probably the fight where if I'm watching the card, I'm going to go take a bathroom break, going to walk down the street and pick up a pizza because, you know, you might fall asleep like Volk at the press conference if you sit there watching this fight. Rakic is also huge for the division. If you don't watch his fights, I don't blame you, but a very big guy for the division. I think it's going to be problems for our boy Murzy. You know, this is my new guy in the division, so we hope Murzy wins. Definitely a more exciting fighter, and it would be cool to see him go on a run. You know, more fighters in the heavy and light heavyweight division is always a good thing because those divisions do get bare. But I think Rakic wins this. Now, moving on, chat. Let's make some money here with these fights. Now, we'll get this out of the way. None of this is financial advice at all. This is just something fun I do on the side with my money. But if I had some extra money I was putting on the fights, what I'm doing right now is I'm doing one on Tom Aspinall money line, and I'm doing one on Umar money line. I think that these are the two locks of the card that you could really say this fighter is going to win. And then after that, what I'm doing is I'm bringing Merab Dvalishvili in here, and I'm doing Tom Aspinall, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Merab Dvalishvili. I'm doing a money line parlay of all 3 of those fights. We're going to try to print some dough here, you know. Give us some more money, we'll run up the street and go grab some pizzas. Or maybe we'll go to Full Violence and buy some more UFC merch, you know. There's endless things we could do here. We could upgrade this setup. We could get more than one UFC 320 poster. That would be good. We have more improvements coming. Comment down below what I should add to my background here. But that's what I'm betting on. You could single bet those fights. Obviously, a better chance to win there. When you start parlaying more fights, it gets harder to win. And I'll tell you guys my strategy. I always stick with money lines because, I mean, think about the Dustin Poirier submitting Chandler, for example. You would never predict that. What you would predict is Dustin Poirier to knock out Chandler and win by KO or TKO. But what's the problem here is a striker could get a guy rocked, and then the guy could just turn his back and he's like, oh, I'll just choke him out real quick. Even though I basically had the TKO locked in the bag to make you the money, just because I made one small decision because the guy gave up his back, that's going to ruin your night. You're going to go broke, and you're not going to be buying pizza that night. Drinks are not going to be on you. So I always go money line, and when I parlay, I like, when I'm keeping it reasonable, just to stick to 2 or 3 fights. That's all. Just 2 or 3 fights. We don't get crazy. The more you add, it just gets way more likely that something crazy is going to happen. It is MMA. I mean, Leon Edwards gets the head kick win, and that ruins everyone's bets. Like, this stuff does happen. Peyton Talbot loses as a minus 1,000 favorite. Chase Hooper loses. Like, this stuff happens, and it ruins people's parlays. So I like to stick to 2 fights, but I'm very confident in Merab, and there will be a bigger breakdown on that fight in the future. But I think Merab beats Yan, given how their last fight went, and it looks like Merab has gotten even better since then. So those are 3 fights I put in a parlay, and I do it. Never financial advice, but that's just what I am doing personally. And never bet more money than you could lose. But if you like this video, if you hit the like button and subscribe, that does wonders for this channel, and I appreciate it. But what I really want to know, comment down below. Am I getting these picks right, or am I chopping it up? Like, you guys let me know what you have. If any of these make sense, or if you think you have a better opinion than mine, let me know, and maybe we'll shift it. Probably not, because we'll be stubborn. But thank you for watching the whole video. I will see you later this week. It'll actually be Sunday or Monday of next week with the next video. But I'll see you guys then. Deuces.